begin, I would like to ask you all two questions. My first question is that, how many of you carry all your grocery bags all at once so that you don't have to go for a second trip? Yeah, a lot of hands. Now, my second question is that, how many of you channel your inner cricket skills and throw your trash from 5 feet away the dustbin and it lands perfectly inside? Now, I'm not trying to criticize it, but that small step can lead to a very big change. Let me tell you all about one incident. Few weeks back, I recall that I was traveling home by the bus. After a long and tiring day at school with too many math periods, me and my friends were having a great time together. One of my friends was drinking juice, and once she drank all of it, she got up to throw the can outside the window. I got up as a responsible citizen to tell her not to, which, as usual, followed with a series of questions asking why. It's just one can. Although I stopped her from throwing the can outside the window, I questioned myself. Didn't I do the exact same thing a few times when there was no trash can next to me? Didn't I just dump it in the middle of nowhere? Don't I need to change myself first to be able to have the privilege to question others? Hello, and a very good morning to one and all present here. I'm Gia of grade 8, here to talk on healing the world through environment and us. And I promise, no boring lectures, just ideas that might actually make a difference. Now, what do you all get to analyze from the incident? People, let's say I, expected change, but not from myself, rather from people around me. First, I need to change myself, my thoughts, my acts, my habits. And only then can I expect it from everyone around me. Let's put I first in the initiative. Now, once we start with the change, we'll focus on the smaller goals. Smaller goals, once resolved, tend to have a larger impact, leading to a better and effective resolution of larger goals. It's like solving a giant puzzle, but solving the pesky corner pieces first. Now, before we go deeper into this topic, there is one area which has sustained the maximum amount of damage, and that is our environment, our own environment, the place we live in, our life support system. We plan for weddings years in advance, down to the color of napkins to the best flavoring cakes. But we can't even commit to recycling for more than a week. Imagine if the earth could send us a bill for the damages we've done. It would go something like this. Dear human, you owe me 40,000 trees, a cleaner ocean, and a penguin that went missing last week. Payment due yesterday. So maybe it is time we give as much as thought to earth planning as we do to that one perfect Instagram post. And let's face it, the environment deserves more heroes and fewer villains. So grab your cape, or better yet, a cloth bag, and let's save the earth. Let me tell you about some amazing people who made an extremely big impact on the environment. I call them the planet warriors. In Peru, Marino cleaned an entire lake just using his kayak. In Ecuador, Mexico collected 1 million cigarette butts, and turned them into art, something totally out of the box. In Sri Lanka, Tusita made paper out of elephant poop. Here we are, wasting the only paper we've got, and here they are, using every possible resource given by the nature to make something better out of it. Ryan made extendable clothes, similar to the pattern of an origami, and better yet, they were made out of plastic bottles. In Ivory Coast, Eric built a floating hotel out of plastic bottles. And lastly, our India. In India, a farmer Jadav planted an entire forest within 40 years of time because he wanted a cleaner environment and not just deforestation. I mean, what were their inspirations? They just wanted a cleaner environment for us and the future generations to live in. Now, coming back to the example, it is simple basic and happens in our everyday life. Every one of us dumps garbage. Once given to the garbage collector, we do not care what state it is in afterwards. Just assume we segregate our waste to the last piece: food waste, paper, plastic, and other recyclables, glass, and metal. Food waste, if 100% pure, it's equivalent to gold for agriculture, can be composted and sent as manure. Now, composting is nature's own slow cooker. You throw in your food scraps, let them simmer for a month, and voila, you have gourmet dirt. Meanwhile, your neighbors will be thinking you're running some kind of trash laboratory in your backyard. But hey, progress is still progress. Paper, plastic, and other recyclables can be sent directly to recyclers. So more material for recycling and less demand for fresh raw material. Now, if all this was not segregated, it would end up in a landfill, rendering it unusable, and in turn, harming the environment in a much larger way. One incident that comes to my mind when I speak about this is last year when I was traveling through my hometown. I had to go through a place which is known as Kalyan. Now, the shocking thing with this, there was a huge mountain of trash piled up in front of the city. And to think that such a small city has generated that much amount of garbage is truly shocking. Imagine if this went on for a year. I'm pretty sure the entire city would be buried in trash. And we feel that we don't have segregation in developing countries. Even they do the same. It's either they have fancy recycling facilities, or to avoid all, they just burn their trash. Talk about an explosive way to deal with garbage. Now, speaking of garbage, there's some interesting yet traumatizing facts that come to my mind. 3.40 billion metric tons of waste is going to be accumulated by 2050. Wonder where it's all coming from. 1.3 billion metric tons of food is wasted each year. Not me. I eat every last crumb of my food. This shows how humans have been responsible. A chocolate wrapper that you throw away, thinking it would find its way to the trash can, just doesn't vanish. Instead, it finds its way into a cow's dinner or a fish's lunch. But Earth, being ever so smart, sends it right back to us, nicely served on our plates. Moral of the story? Don't let plastic do rounds like your neighborhood gossip. Another important event that comes to my mind, and that's extremely important history, is something. So, every state is known for its own iconic thing. Like Kerala is for its banana chips, Mumbai is for its vada pav, Assam is for its tea. Do you know what 2020 was infamous for? COVID-19, yes. Now, I was personally tortured during the COVID-19. Sure, I got to skip online classes whenever I wanted, blaming network issues like a pro, but I still missed hanging out with my friends. And honestly speaking, my teachers wish they could skip too, considering how notorious we were. I mean, we troubled them more than their Wi-Fi did. And it was at that time that we all realized that Wi-Fi might connect devices, but it sure doesn't connect hearts. Assume the event, the lockdown, without the actual disease. So COVID-19 is still there, lockdown's still there, online classes are still there, but no coronavirus. Cool, right? Well, yes, definitely. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane quietly disappeared, achieving in weeks what we humans have been debating for years, mostly over chai and snacks. Animals returned like they were reclaiming lost property, and plants sprang up everywhere like they got a buy one, get one free deal. Air smelled fresher than mom's kitchen during festivals, mostly Diwali. And most importantly, the earth gave itself a much needed cleanup. Too bad it didn't last long enough for us to fully enjoy it. And just because the earth can complain doesn't mean it doesn't have problems. If the earth could complain, it would go something like this. Dear human, first you cut all my trees, then you pollute all my rivers, and now you're even messing with the air I breathe? What's next? Charging me rent to exist? Well, maybe instead of fancy slogans like Go Green, we should start small. like not treating roads as dustbins. After all, a clean earth means fewer judgmental stares from cows when they see us throwing plastic on the ground. This shows how human activities have been impacting the earth. So, do we need enforced lockdowns, or can we get our act together to do what is actually needed? Repair and redeem ourselves right now before repair becomes rescue mission of Earth. And honestly, we're running out of backup plans. Mars is too far, Moon, no Wi Fi. So, let's stop treating Earth like it's that old bike we think we can fix later and start the change now. Because, unlike our exam results, the damage we're doing won't just disappear on its own. And let's face it, we're running out of excuses. We blamed everyone: factories, cows, plastic straws, and even volcanoes. Maybe it is time to look at ourselves and think, am I the drama? Well, yes, we are. So let's start treating Earth like it should be treated, like a VIP, a very important planet. You and I will still be living to see the better part of the Earth. But if we do not start the change now, maybe 2 or 3 generations down the line won't be worthy enough to live a life of value and freedom. Earth is not just our home, it's our only lifeline. Every drop of water, every breath of air, every grain of soil tells us a story of countless generations that have thrived before us. We have the power to heal it together. And let's face it, Mars isn't ready for visitors yet. So, the next time someone asks you, what can a person possibly do to change the environment? Tell them this. Ever heard of a mosquito in a room? That tiny thing sure can change the environment in a big way. So, let's all be the mosquitoes of the environmental change, just without the annoying buzzing. And remember, the earth doesn't want you to have pity on it. It just wants you to fix what you've broken. Thank you.